Hey friends, Mercedes here. Welcome to another special throwback episode of the Lucky Few podcast. We're still shifting the narrative and shouting the worth of people with Down syndrome through the holiday season by featuring some of our very favorite past interviews. And today we are so excited to re-release a very special interview with Matthew Schwab, a self-advocate and TEDx speaker. One of my favorite pieces of this interview was that his mom was right there beside him, but in the background, just kind of peeking in from time to time. And I just love their dynamic. And I love Matthew Schwab's exuberant personality, confidence, and excitement every time we talked about independent living, which is also something I'm really excited about for Sunflower and super terrified. And I'm so excited to follow along on all these journeys of moms and their children with Down syndrome as they go ahead of me so they can walk me through that process one day. And I'm also super impressed with Matthew and how he's so well-spoken, so professional, and I just feel like you're going to really, really enjoy this episode. If you haven't listened to it already, here it is. And I'm telling you, you're going to fall in love with Matthew and his awesome mom. Enjoy this episode. Thank you for joining us, friends. Welcome to the Lucky Few podcast.
All right, Mercedes, how pumped are you for today's guest?
So pumped.
I think having people with Down syndrome on is our favorite.
It's like what we're all about.
Yeah, like no offense to all the rest of the guests. we love you all. Before we can bring him on to chat, though, he is just so great as a self-advocate, and we love having self-advocates on the podcast. We've had Michaela Holmgren. We've had Kayla McEwen, both women with Down syndrome, on to chat. And now we get to talk to Matthew Schwab, and we do a lot around here to shout the worth of people with Down syndrome. But what do you think is different about people with Down syndrome shouting their own worth versus moms or other advocates?
I think it just actually shows what we're shouting for.
Yeah.
Like, I think to have a person with Down syndrome speaking for themselves and speaking about the awesome things that they're doing is really our goal too. Like, is really our, I don't know, it's just what actually kind of shows, embodies, and screams the worth of people with Down syndrome, that they're capable, you know, and who better to say that than a person actually with Down syndrome. It's not trying to convince look what my kid will do. It's like, no, look what I am doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely. I'm agree completely. And I'm so thankful when we get to interact with people who have Down syndrome and are saying how awesome it is to have Down syndrome and how important it is to be in spaces in the world, shouting their own worth. I think that's awesome. And so, friends, today we have an extraordinary self-advocate with us today. Like we've been saying, Matthew Schwab, he is 22 years old, has Down syndrome. He holds many different roles, including TEDx talk presenter. That's right, TEDx speaker in the house. He's an employee, a volunteer, an ambassador, an intern, a campaign manager, and more. So Matthew, welcome to the show. We're so happy you're here.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, Matthew. Woohoo.
Thanks.
Yes, okay. We are so excited to chat with you today. But before we jump into all of the things you're currently doing, which is a lot of things, can you tell us where you're recording from? So where do you live? Where are you at right now?
I live in Holly Springs, North Carolina.
How have you grown up there?
I've grown up here for my entire life.
Awesome. And then what was your school experience like? What did you do for high school? And then what did you do after high school?
For high school, it was overall a great experience. At first I had a little period of like denial, like, you know, how parents have when they have a child with Down syndrome going through that phase when they have a new child being diagnosed. I felt that way, but it's more of a self-conscious way. It was during freshman year in high school. At first, it was a I wish I had this, and then it's like and then became a jealousy. Like, is this really because of Down syndrome? And then I realized, oh, okay, so I gotta rethink things. And then I just started crying in a high school class, just me realizing like, oh, this is how it affected me. I don't want this.
Mm.
But and then after a couple months, I withdrew to my special ed classes where I felt safe and comfortable. And because of that, it gave me extra boost of adrenaline to no, I'm not going to succumb to that. I'm going to rise up and be like the people with Down syndrome. Like I always known already, and just live my life the way I determined.
That's awesome.
What was your senior year like then? If freshman year, it sounds like that was a challenge. And then by the time you got to your senior year, how was school for you?
It was. I grew more at ease. I got more involved in my high school. I was involved in the theater company chorus, even earning my international thespian society cord through the theater program there. And I also started a club, and also I joined a club that encourages friendships and fellowship.
That's great. And then what did you do after high school once you graduated?
After high school, I started interning, and that was with North Carolina House of Representatives for John Bradford, representative of Mecklenburg County. I loved that moment. I was there during the duration of the short session, which was only 6 weeks, which is short, but I really loved it.
That's awesome. So Matthew, when did you start public speaking?
I started public speaking in March of 2014 as part of the World Down Syndrome Day event then, which was at the North Carolina Governor's Mansion.
Oh, amazing. Was it then that you kind of found your passion, or had you been public speaking before then and knew you wanted to do it?
I've done private speaking beforehand, but it was right then at March 2014 when I started doing public speaking. And as the years went by, I was like, wow, I'm getting better at this. I really love it. And then it grew to a point of comfort. Like, it's like, I'm not just going to be comfortable with it. I want to do something about it. And that's how I was thinking on how to launch my new public speaking business called Matthew Schwab Speaks.
Woo!
Okay, Matthew, so I've done a little bit of public speaking, and how do you prepare for a talk?
First, it's just practical stuff. So the first step is figure out what you want to talk about. And then once you figure out what you want to talk about, you kind of jot notes down to figure out like what it would be potentially be about. And then from the notes, you write out the speech from the thoughts onto the paper, and then like a script basically. And then from there, you start memorizing and get more comfortable with the material. For me, it varies on what speaking engagement it is. Like for the TEDx, I had to memorize it, but for other speaking engagements, which is not strict like that, I can do like PowerPoints in that case, develop the PowerPoint itself, and it was a great experience.
Okay, so let's talk TEDx, because you are a TEDx speaker, and
yes.
Tell our listeners what your talk was about.
Can you please repeat that?
Yes, can you tell our listeners what your TEDx talk was about?
Oh yes, my TEDx talk is about why it is important to employ and include the differently abled, more specifically Down syndrome, in the workforce.
And tell us why. Why do you think that is? You don't have to give your whole talk, but why do you think it is important for the workforce to include people with Down syndrome and disabilities?
I think it is important because at first, just look at the margins, and that kind of speaks true, saying like 80% of individuals with disabilities are unemployed, and only 20% are employed, only holding menial jobs and working behind the scenes, masking their full potential. So that speaks true. And that's what I want to get across. Hey, here are these margins. Let's break down those margins. And then in order to do that, employers would have to employ individuals with disabilities. And I said in the text talk that people with disabilities are employable. We're punctual, reliable, and loyal employees. And we have measurable effects on their leadership development. And overall, it's good for their business because we bring more profit into the business. And also we bring the community together, and it's good for ourselves.
Hired.
I know, right?
You can come work for the Lucky Few podcast. You're hired.
That would be amazing. Okay, Matthew. So you have so many jobs and roles in your life, and I just want to name a few. Okay.
Right.
You work at the movie theater, a volleyball league, a coffee shop, and even Chick-fil-A. And not to mention the public speaking business you have.
Yes.
How do you do it all?
First, I'd like to add that's not the only things I do. I also volunteer on 2 advisory boards, one with Gigi's Playhouse Raleigh and one with 321 Coffee.
Whoa, not to mention. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. So you keep busy, and your week looks just as busy, more busy than mine.
I know. What's a day like in the life of Matthew?
My day being myself is like writing speeches, sending emails to reach out for public speaking engagements, selling t-shirts, which they're on my website, the Matthew Schwab Speaks one, and they include t-shirt from the TEDx talk. And I do deliveries too. I've done a variety of speaking engagements, large and small, at schools, athletic places, student athletes, and I love my business. It feels like it's awesome. My life.
What is your dream talk, like your dream audience, to give a keynote to or to be the speaker at?
Variety of different age groups, and especially the typically developing people, because I think they should know it's not just hey, we here are the margins, and let's grow from those margins to say hey, I have Down syndrome, and this is my life. This could be a potential life for your child. Look up to me if you need to find out how your child will live.
Oh, that's awesome. Exactly, Matthew.
For your TEDx talk, is that something that you had to try out for?
It's not like an audition base, but it's more of an application base.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then after the application, it was a phone call with the curator and licensee of the TEDx location. Mine was TEDx Carry Women, and we sat down and we talked on the phone, and so she can get to know what the nature of the talk was. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I got an email saying hey, you're a speaker for TEDx Carry Women. And I was like, wow. And then I got a speaker coach within just 2 months before the event. And then with the coach, we developed the talk and rehearsed it. And they have TEDx already provides rehearsals, so we did those. And then they did. The day 2 days before was the technical runs for it to put all of it together to run the technical. So they'll know how to run the tech, and then the dress rehearsal, the entire thing put together, then the real legit event. And I always say that I'm hyped up, I'm mic'd up. I just need people.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm hyped up. I'm mic'd up. I just need people. Are you nervous when you talk?
I'm just nervously excited. Like I was too nervous to feel anything but excitement.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
that's
is exciting.
awesome.
One of my dream audiences is a TED stage. I'd like to give a TED talk someday. So I'm aspiring to be like you
Thank you.
in a lot of ways.
And surprisingly, it didn't come without a small prize. In high school, when I told you like how I felt in freshman year, actually was really sad about my diagnosis. I kind of succumbed a little bit. It's like, why this, why that? And then I was like, oh, so here's why. And then I realized about my potential future. It's like, oh. And then I felt insecure in my future. I felt a lot more reserved in freshman year of high school, but through sophomore year and beyond, I grew and became more of an extrovert and being great at customer service and spending all this time being the busy Matthew Schwab.
Exactly. How old are you again, Matthew?
I am 22 years old.
22. Wow. And it's awesome to think that you still have so much to learn. I feel like I'm still learning so much about myself and growing as a person who's 34 years old. So you can only go up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. I've got another question for you. So most of the people who are listening to our podcast are parents who have kids with Down syndrome, and a lot of parents who have little kids with Down syndrome. So I know for me, I have 2 kids with Down syndrome, and hearing you say that your freshman year, you felt really sad about having Down syndrome.
Yes.
What would you encourage our moms? How would you encourage our moms and parents to talk to their kids who have Down syndrome about Down syndrome?
I want them to be very positive, and use their period when they're like unsure moment, and use that to their advantage, and use that as a more of a research period for their lives.
I love that
I like
advice.
that. Yeah,
That's amazing.
that is good advice.
Matthew, what are some goals you have for your future?
My first goal is my primary goal, which is to spread the message about people with disabilities, because they are people. We are people. We just want to live our lives, and we just want a chance.
Amen. Exactly.
So you're growing. Yeah, you're growing your speaking business. And does that feel like your main goal right now, that you're growing your speaking business?
And that is my other goal, but my other main goal is that I want to live on my own, want to be self-supporting, and I got a girlfriend who I wanted to marry.
Oh, really? What's her
man.
name?
Her name's Lucia. We've been together in total of 6 years, but over 4 years official.
Wow.
Matthew, does Lucia have a disability?
Yes, she also has Down syndrome.
Okay.
And that's how we initially met when we were babies, way back like 97, 98. And then, yes, and she had a 15-year long crush on me, which I did not know.
Okay.
and then I grew to friendship, and we had our first date. And I was like, very, very first date, I was like, why can't I get my eyes off of that beautiful woman? And then I realized, oh, it's because it's true love. And then in 2015, I asked her to be my girlfriend, and she said yes. And then a couple of years ago, on our 3rd year anniversary, I gave her a promise necklace to seal our love forever. So I'm ready for the big step coming up, giving her that big old ring.
Oh my God.
To marry me.
Wait,
I want
Matthew.
to see your mom's face in this.
I know.
I love this. This is amazing.
No, you really don't.
Matthew's mom is here in the corner. Welcome to the show. Okay, wait. We were gonna start to end our conversation, but now we have a whole new conversation. Matthew,
keep talking about his love story.
so you want to get married, which I like that, and live on your own with your wife. When is this happening? Is the first question. Can I come to the wedding? Second question. What's your timeline here? Like really, what's your hope in your timeline?
My hope is that I want to move out when I'm 30
Okay.
That's good.
years old,
Yeah.
because like there's people with Down syndrome who have lived with their parents in their 40s, in their 50s. I don't want that.
Oh, he looked at his mom just then when he said that, and I feel like my heart is crushed. I also feel like, Matthew, if you want to come move in with me and my family, I don't know if that's
moving out, but not that far.
I would be all about it.
And I think it's okay too. Like, everybody's different. I think it's okay too if you are still living with your parents and you're 40 and 50, and that's fine. You just want to try it. You're saying you want to try it, Matthew. And if it works out, that's awesome. And if it doesn't, that's fine. I feel like it's cool that you have that goal. And between you and your parents, talk about it.
My goal is to first live on my own without my girl and see how it is. And then if I love it so much, I'll invite her into the party.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
and I want to be engaged to her, but like in my mid-ish 20s, like 25, 26, 27 years old.
Okay.
So, and get married when we're about to turn 30. And you two are definitely invited to my wedding.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
I mean, selfish. I can't see your mom's face right now. As a mom, I feel like I understand a little bit maybe what she's feeling, but as a friend being invited to the wedding, like, let's do this. I cannot wait.
All right.
There's definitely mixed emotions. As a mom, and you have a boy and a girl. Like, I feel like for Sunflower, I feel like we could all joke and kid, and I'm like, no, this isn't happening. We can talk about it.
That's funny. And Matthew, I also love that you've been friends with your girlfriend since you were little, because my oldest daughter, Macy, we have a friend that they've been good friends since he was 8 months old, and Macy is younger than him. And then, and we always joke, but not joke, that one day they'll get married. And they're still friends and like each other a lot. And then same with my son, August. He has a friend that they've been friends since they were both about 8 or 9 months old. And we always joke that they will get married, but also not joking. So this gives me hope that my plans, which my children's plans are more important for themselves, but that my plans unfold in their life.
100%.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, goodness. Okay, we got a little off track there, but
I have a question.
Yes, go.
What's your next speaking engagement, Matthew?
Oh, in a couple months, Coca-Cola wants me to go to Atlanta, Georgia, to the worldwide headquarters for me to speak, because they saw my TEDx talk.
Yes.
What? Are you freaking out, Coca-Cola?
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's so great.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad that it's you doing that. If people want to hire you as a speaker or to learn more about you, what's the best way for them to find you?
My website at MatthewSchwabSpeaks.com. That's MatthewSchwabSpeaks.com. And from there, you can book me for speaking engagements. And also, not just that, you can support my business by purchasing any of my t-shirts. I have a Matthew Schwab Speaks one that has a little character right here.
We just saw a picture of it. It's like like a drawing of Matthew.
Yes, and also the TEDx winner, the include shirt, which is what you guys will probably will see in my TEDx talk.
Sweet. And we're going to have links to your TEDx talk, to your website. Are you on social media, Matthew, on Facebook or Instagram?
Both.
Okay. So we'll have links to all of those things. If you are a business owner, if you are in any space that you have the capacity to hire someone to speak, we encourage you and challenge you to choose Matthew and to choose someone with a disability first, because of how much they have to offer, and head over to Matthew's website. So Matthew, and we'll stay in touch. I feel like I need your cell phone number.
Oh my
And if we can be friends,
I'll make sure I'll email you regarding my phone number.
Yes, okay. Yeah. Don't say it here on the show.
Yeah.
I tend to get people's phone numbers and I don't share it. I'll be private about that.
She's very professional about it.
Hi, I like you. Can I have your phone number? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you to Matthew's mom who chimed in there for a second. We're grateful for you as moms. Hats off to you, girl.
Mm-hmm.
And
thank you very much. It's been great.
Thank you very much. I love this opportunity.
check in with you next week.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew.
Thanks,
Bye.
Matthew. Bye.
You're very welcome. Bye.
All right, friends, we hope you enjoyed the special throwback episode. Tune in next week to hear another one of our faves. As always, a huge thank you to our editor, Josh Avis, our producer, Val Schleter, our sponsors, and all of you who have shared the Lucky Few podcast with friends and who have listened faithfully and cheered us on. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember that you, dear listeners, supporting your loved one with Down syndrome, you are a shouter of worth and a narrative shifter. So keep on keeping on. We are cheering for you. Happy holidays.